I'm Bradley Sowash, jazz pianist and educator, and following up on the past two beginning and intermediate improv tips of the month, in which we dealt with using rhythm boxes to increase rhythmic awareness. This time I'm going to show you some advanced skills. This is really more at a very advanced student level or a professional level, so this is more for you, which is why I wore my coach shirt, because I know sometimes teachers come to learn how to teach beginners and intermediates or whatever, but this is a little bit more advanced today. We're just going to do three things here. Number one, we're just going to review very quickly the basics of how rhythm boxes work for those of you who maybe didn't see the beginning and intermediate improv tips of the month. And then I'm going to show you some swing rhythm box activities to improve your ability to play swing comping styles. And then I'll show you some Latin style rhythm box activities. So first of all, let's just hit the basics for those of you who are new to this. Rhythm boxes is just a way to represent rhythms that are not traditional notation. So here is an example that I used with electric tape. You could just write this down on a piece of paper or something. Basically, you want to have 4 beats to the measure. This is measure 1 and this is measure 2. And then you're going to subdivide those beats however you like. So sometimes they might be, in 3 per measure if it were 12/8 or something. But in this case, just more of a conventional 8 eighth notes per measure. So this would represent 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Each main beat or square representing a quarter note. Or I think, what are they called when you're from some of the other countries you visit here? A brev, I think, right? Is that what a quarter note is? No, a crotchet. Yeah. And then these represent the quavers or the eighth notes. So trying to be international here as possible. And then what we can do is represent, beats on it. And I know some of you have been here before. So if we wanted to do, a shave and a haircut, 2 bits, I'm going to put on the first half of this beat representing beat 1, shave, 2 and 3, 4. So here we have da 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 dee da da dee da, and then a rest. So over here goes 2 bits, shave and a haircut, 2 bits. So this is something I developed to teach rhythms to dancers. I'm not totally sure if I made it up or not, but it's been really very useful. So if you're at a piano, I hope you'll be able to try this with me. We're going to do something that is something drummers work on called rhythmic displacement. So we're going to play a rhythm and then move it around the measure. It's going to be pretty easy, but we're going to need a basis underneath there to play that rhythm. So in order to keep track of where you are on the beat, I want you to play a little bass line down here. It's pretty simple. It's just going to lay right there in the 5-finger position, C, D, E, G, like this. C, D, E, G. And then to give that a little bit of a rhythmic punch, I'm going to use a bass sound here, which is paired with a ride cymbal. So you kind of get that groovy swing beat. So working on a swing beat use of rhythm boxes. Now we're going to play that for 2 measures. And then you're going to play 2 measures of the exact same pattern on an F chord. So you'll play F, G, A, C, F, G, A, C. So just try that. 2 measures of C, 2 measures of F. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, repeat. C, D, E, G, F, F, G, A, C, repeat. F, G, A, C, back to C. 2 measures, C, and F. Another way to think of this is by chord parts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5 on C, 1, 2, 3, 5 on F, 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's just get that really automatic because we're going to add some right hand craziness to that. Hopefully you're able to do this at your piano. And I really especially appreciate those of you who are here with me in person, because that means a lot. Now what you're going to do is you're going to play a C chord, or if you want, you can make that a C6 on just the beats 1 and. So right here, we're just going to put an X and an X. This is the only thing you're going to do. So simple. On the right hand, you're going to play do dot. We're going to do that with a swing feel. Do bat, 3, 4, do bat. So just this measure will be repeating a couple of times. And when we get to the F chord, you're playing F chord. So you can play that as a triad or a 6th chord. I can show you that in a minute. Let's just do it with triads. So we're just playing beat 1 and, and then putting that with the left hand. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and let that measure go by. Let's do it on F. Back to measure 1. Just let a measure go by to get ready for the F. Make sure it's do-ba. So you have long, short. 1, 2, 3, 4, long, short. And that measure in between is going to be important in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, boo-da. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to displace that rhythm. So on measure 1, C, E, da, ding, da, and we'll let 2 measures of C go by just for give us some time. So let's say there's a little repeat sign here, sort of. And then when we get to the F chord, so we're just going to move that over a beat. So this time we're going to go do-ba, but we're going to do it on beat 2. So the Fs are on beat 2, and the Cs are on beat 1. So it sounds like this: 1 and 2, 3, 4. I may as well play every measure. Let's try it. 1, keep it on there. Now on 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1 and a 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. All right, you get the idea? We just took a little rhythm and we moved it over by 1 beat. All right, so that's just sort of the easy way. What we're going to do now is we're going to move this over by 1 beat all the way through the pattern. So measure 1 of C will start on 1, measure 2 of C will start on 2, measure 3 of F will start on beat 3, and measure 4 of F will start on beat 4. So it kind of looks like this, if I can show you a representation using a rhythm board, which is how I like to teach these things. So measure 1 would look like this: 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and. So these represent 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and. Good. Diana says not too hard yet. All right. Now we're going to just go ahead and move that down the line a little bit, so that when we get to measure 3 to the F, it would look like this. You're just kind of holding off on the F. So let me put some marbles on here. And so we would have on measure 3, 1, 2, 3, and measure 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay? So let's just give that a go. And I'll show you how it sounds. I'm just really thinking to myself: beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. You can try it with me if you like. 1, 2, start on 1, and 1. Now on beat 2, 1, 2, and. Beat 3, 1, 2, 3, and beat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And so it repeats. That's the surprise. Here's beat 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'm going to break that down a little bit. If you want to play the jazzier chords I'm playing, I'm putting it in an A. E, G, A, C is how I'm voicing it from the bottom up. E, G, A, C. And for the F6, to give it a 6 sound, I'm playing D, F, A, C. Feels like a D minor 7 chord, but it's really F6 because of the bass. So let's try this again. A 1, 2, ready, and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Now, why is this useful? We all know that there are 4 quarter notes in a measure, but we aren't familiar with all 4 of them, let alone all the eighth notes, in terms of where they really live and really feeling them in our bones and making choices about where we put things. So if we're comping, the jazz parlance for accompanying in that left hand, we want to be able to have an awareness of the 8 possibilities where we can place some cool rhythmic jabs. So just kind of give you a feel for that. Let's say we're doing so you can hear that, I'm putting the left hand on all kinds of offbeats and choices within the measure. And that's what this develops, an awareness of that. So let's move it on to make it a little tougher, a little more interesting, to make it even more advanced. We've been moving the rhythmic displacements by one whole beat. But this time, let's move them by a half a beat. So 1 and is going to be the measure C, measure 1 with a C in it. But instead of moving it over a whole measure, I'm going to move it only over an eighth for the second measure. So think to yourself how that would sound. We've just taken a simple eighth notes, but we've moved it by an eighth. And as you can imagine, the next measure, if we were to continue down, would look like that on beat 2. And the next measure would be on the and of 2. And the next measure would be beat 3. And the next measure would be and of 3. And the last measure would be 4 and. So we just keep displacing, going down the track like that. So let's take a listen to how that works. I'm going to do this slow so that, and I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here because I want to make sure I don't make mistakes while I'm teaching. Yeah, I can't teach and play it. Just listen to it and notice how it moves down the line. Starting on 1, starting on the and of 1, starting on 2, starting on the and of 3. 1, 2, ready, and. 2 and 3. 3 and 4. 4 and 1 and 2. 2 and 3. 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4. So we're rhythmically displacing that down the road to get more idea about where the chords may lie. Everybody is very comfortable playing a little swing rhythm or a swing comping on beat 1 of a measure, but are we really good about putting it on beat 4 or the and of 4 or the and of 3? And that's what we're doing. So Sarah says this is such a great exercise. Good, yeah, it is. It's just do it with 2 chords. If you want to do it, you can do it with a tune or whatever else you like. And then if you want to try it with different rhythms, it can get pretty tricky. One of them that you might try, I'll just throw it out there for those of you who are really digging this. You could do like 8th quarter 8th. Do do bop, do do bop, and then displace that. Ga gi ga. So you can work that out. This is where that comes into play. So, listen to that left hand. So notice I can hold back 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you see, we can put some cool things on the back half of the measure while we're comping. Now I'm going to share with you some strategies to make cool comping rhythms using rhythm boxes that are Latin based. So let's just have a listen to them first, and then I'll break it down for you. So here we go. Let's see. So we've heard these sounds, very exciting Latin sounds. And Latin, of course, refers to the whole Afro-Cuban diaspora for music that developed in the lots of it happened in Brazil, also Cuba and Africa. There's a really neat trick to be able to sound like what I just did. And it involves, I call it the Latin generator. You're going to play 4 beats on and 4 beats off. So let's figure out how that would work on this rhythm board or rhythm box. So 4 beats on would be on the first half of each of these measure. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And really, no big deal here. This is the same rhythm as, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or a million other quarter note based songs. So four beats on. And then we're going to have 4 beats, or 4 notes, I guess, or chords that are off beat. So instead of putting it down here on beat 1, I'm going to move these all to the half note. Sorry, let's call off beat. The back half of each beat, the 8th note. So we have 4 that are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Or I like to say it this way: on, rest, off, on, rest, off, like that. So to give us a basis to play that on the piano, let's just play in our left hand simple little rhythm of D, A, G, D. And if you do that, all half notes, if you do that in one hand position, instead of jumping around, we're going to play D, A, G, D, and D, A, G, D. 5, 2, 3, 1 are the fingers. 5, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so on top of that, you're going to play 4 D minor 7 chords, D, F, A, C, D, F, A, C, and then 4 G7 chords, D, F, G, B. So the hand will just be right there in the same position, D, F, A, C, D, F, G, B. Only 2 notes move. So let's listen to this really slow. 4 on and 4 off. Let's do it with a beat now. 1, 2, ready, in. All right. So how are we doing? Is this working for you? Because I want to make it a little trickier here. Give me a little feedback here. Can you still hit this? Because we're gonna ramp it up a little bit, and just give you sort of a supreme challenge here that'll really give you a lot of awareness for the back end of the beat. Sounds like spooky in major and jazzed up, says Faye Smith. Yeah, spoot it. Yeah, the tune spooky. Yeah, I was also thinking Oyo Como Va. A lot of those 2 chords. Yeah, I forgot about that tune, Spooky. That's a good tune. Still good so far, Diana says. Looks good, Meg. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to displace those in a way. The rules are you have to have 4 on the beats and 4 off the beats. And so they always have to go in that order as well. So you can see that here we have 4 on the beats and 4 off the beats. So this time we're gonna move one of them over, and we're gonna basically take it the other way. So we have, I want to make sure I do this right because I'm upside down and everything else. Yeah, so we're gonna take this one, and we're just gonna basically rotate everybody. So everybody rotates. So let me just set this up so that you I'm not doing it all upside down. Yep. So all I did really was move one marble here. So that gives us 3 on the beat, and lots of off beats. But we need to make up that missing on the beat. So if you think of this as a circle, it is continuous on beats and off beats. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, off, on again. So in a circle, we still have 4 in a row. Everybody's just shifted. So this sounds like this: da 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 da. On, off, on. So we're using displacement. We're using a visual idea here. We're not all tangled up in eighth notes or brevs or all crotchets and quarter notes and all that. We're not worried about all the ties and then the silliness of the detail that's involved in notation is silly in this regard because we're only interested in where the notes are located, not duration. And they are all 3 on the beat, 4 off the beat, and then we make up the missing on beat in the end. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, off, 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 on, off, 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 on. Let's do that with a beat here. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've moved everybody over by one beat. I hope you understand that. So we're just going to do that again. So now I'm going to take this guy and put it on half. And in order to make that up, I need to move everybody around so that I make up the two here. So I have one, on, off, 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 on. So it's still in a circle. The rules must be 4 on beats and 4 off beats, but they don't have to always start that way. This is actually my favorite of the available patterns here. So it sounds like this. On, off, 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 on. On, off, 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 on. Let's try that with a beat. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my favorite one. It really works out well. And of course, there's one more if we're moving things by a quarter, which is that we just move this all again, and so everybody comes down the track, and we have 4 off beats, and we make up the difference in the end with 3 on beats. So now we have on, off, 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 on, off, 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 on. Let's hear how that would sound. I'll do it slow. 1, 2, ready, and on, off, 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 on, off, 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 on, off, 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 on. The first time I didn't say it right. So now what you're going to do, if you want to just give you a nice challenge for yourself, is you're going to play those right in a row. So let's just try that. 1, 2, start with 4 on. 1, 2, 3, 4 off. Repeat. Now 3 on, off, 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 on, off, 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 off. Now 2 beats. 5, 6, 7, and on, off, 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 on, off, 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 on. Now just 1 beat on. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and on, off, 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 on. Now there are actually 4 more possibilities. If you displace that by an 8th, you could go all the way around, and that gets really advanced. So here's what you could do. You can head down the on your walk today. Now you are walking every morning, I hope. If I have that pace going in my feet, then I can practice both the exercises I showed you today by tapping my shoulders. My neighbors are used to seeing me doing this, so I'm just walking, walk, 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 just make these drum sounds underneath. Walk, 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 boom, 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 gang, 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 dee-da, or the swing one, ba, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, dee-da. So you can, makes me cough to beat my chest there. All right, so there you have some rhythmic ideas for teaching with rhythm boxes and thinking more like a drummer, which is on and off the beat, and less like a piano player, seeing this all written out. So I'm going to just take it out here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and maybe I'll just play a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. So the official teaching is over, but I always like to just do a little ramming and jamming, but this will be a little bit mellower because I really love these chords. So thanks for being with me. I'll give you another sign off at the end, but if you need to run, that's okay. D minor. Here's the bridge. Give it a little jazz waltz. love this. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. What I'm going to do is put on a little bit of that bass line so I can have a little bit of a walk and then improvise over those chords in 3. 1, 2. Right now, I'm thinking rhythm and chord tones. And now we're going to that jazz waltz. Do-da, do-da, do-da is what I'm thinking. Do-da, do-da. And just big run. What is this? Who knows? Chromatic garbage. Parallel structures. Now I'm thinking how to end this. So I'm just doing a little circle, turn around, half step, sliding into a C6. All right, until next time, you enjoy your creative music making journey. Thanks so much for being with me here live.